Yep. And then Chad says, I heard LeBron James loved Blade's gift.
He should. I'm sure he
So
did.
it was a week.
This ties into what Rios always says about making sure that your big three is time to play together. This is another setback for him because now you got one guy from that big three, KD, out for a couple weeks. And that's been the problem with them since last season. They haven't all gotten together and played enough games to really find their groove. And this is just another setback for them.
We always talk about next man up, too. And I know that's going to be one of our first segments here so we can transition into that from this. But that's what I'm talking about. We talk about injuries, and I don't like to complain or argue about them, but they are a fact. They will happen. That's why this is a team sport. So you got to have a bench. You got to have stars. You got to have people that can fill those holes, But you got to
tell Daryl Morey that.
You got to continue to play no matter what happens to your team. And the Sixers are a prime example if you want to go that route. When you don't have your boys, you lose. Well, I wish TRL was here because we could get him to say how he felt with the Suns last year, because that's exactly how I feel with the Sixers right now. He was ready to be done with them last year because you got all this hype, your team's going to be dope, and then injuries and other bullshit, and they never get to play together. So I feel his pain from last year.
Yeah,
but I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried at all. I'm really not.
Oh, you sound like you are with all these hate rants towards Embiid.
Well, I'm just done with Embiid. I mean, we've never seen this team on the court together, so we can't judge it.
Yeah,
so if we've cut the season in half, and the Sixers are at full strength for the second half of the season, and they're phenomenal, we ain't going to remember this first couple weeks.
I would.
That's a big what if. I mean, we're talking about people that, there's a cycle. It's a cycle. People get hurt. Other people play. Do you expect the same thing? Do you expect the same thing from the guy behind the starter? Not always, but you never know what you're going to get. And we've seen a lot of that in the early season here so far. Teams lose a player, someone else steps up. Yep. If they don't, you're going to get hurt.
Speaking of stepping up, Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic has been stepping up tremendously ever since Ben Kellogg's been out with that injury. Franz Wagner is one of those guys who is young, athletic, can shoot, can do everything you need to step up. And he's that guy. He's been like this. What was it? The past 8 games, he's averaged like 25 points or something. Like, this guy's a big deal. And he can win. I can see if he keeps this up, like throughout the rest of the season, he could be in contention for most improved. I would love that for the kid. Not saying because I'm the Michigan guy, but I'm just saying.
Well, there's a guy named Peyton Pritchard that's blowing some numbers out the water right now, too.
Peyton Pritchard, I've been telling you about him whenever I stream Celtics games.
Someone put like a stat against him, and I know it's early in the season, but him and Curry, and he's blowing Curry out the water in like threes and stuff like that already. And it's like some people start off real hot. I mean, that's why they're there. We've seen him do it in the playoffs. He's no joke, so it doesn't surprise me he's doing well now. No,
it doesn't. Wagner just really become that second starter. The really second option would be Carroll's out. Well, first option would be Carroll's out. But yeah, Nikki, how do you feel about Franz Wagner?
And this goes back to what I said like late summer. I was saying that it's possible the Olympic run for Franz Wagner could have been the start of his breakout. He could capitalize off that momentum from the Olympics and translate it over to next season. And now here we are. Early in the NBA season, we're talking about Franz Wagner taking that next step. This is his first season. He's averaging over 20 a game. He was like 17 last year. Now he's over 20. That's a big step up in points scored. And he's showing thus far that he's validating what I said about him, that he was going to be a breakout star. So there's that right there. And this also ties into, too, this was the perfect timing for Wagner, because here's why. I remember I mentioned with the Redeem team before about all those guys stepped their game up the following season. It's kind of similar to that, but this time it's with players across different countries, not just all USA players. Like you see Wemby, the Olympics were crucial for him, getting that experience of making it to the gold medal, and now he's continuing right where he left off. That was great. He had that off season to prepare and play the Olympics, keep him in basketball shape, and now he's following up again this season. And you see some of the guys that played on Team USA are having solid seasons thus far, too. And Franz Wagner, that was the perfect opportunity for him to showcase himself with a chip on his shoulder in the Olympics. Now, here he is, coming in, leading the way for the Orlando Magic as the next man up.
Yep. We got 24 points per game, 6 boards, and 6 assists. Shooting at 46, 33, and he's close to the 50-40-90. He's really close. I don't know if he'll get there, but he is close. Rios, how do you feel about Franz Wagner?
It's kind of similar to Ant last year with the FIBA Cup. We saw him going to and then he translated to the regular season. We kind of see the same thing with Franz. He had a great Olympic run, and he's continuing his great play here with the Magic, especially with Banchero down. The East is still wide open, so they're still they're still in it. So him elevating his game is going to continue to keep them in that more or less playoff hunt. I know it's only like a quarter of the season, but some of the guys you play now, like those division standings matter at some point towards the end of the year. So getting what you can, it makes a big difference.
I believe that that the Magic only lost like 1 or 2 games ever since Banchero's been out. So they're the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference behind the Celtics and the Cavs.
They're undefeated at home. They're 9-0 at home.
Oh wow!
And Wagner's one of the guys that is the reason. I look at it. It's the first thing I want to say. Is the reason that the Magic are 15-8. I mean, let's be real. He's moving up a level. I mean, and they're also in the cup too. So, by the way, I did see that. It's next Tuesday the 10th. Magic